Good morning, students. Today we are going to study our fourth chapter, that is nutrition, respiration and excretion in plants. So, we are aware about what is nutrition, what is respiration and what is excretion. But here we have to study all these three in the case of plant. So, firstly we will start with the topic nutrition. Plants are autotrophs in nature. What is the meaning of autotrophs? Autotrophs means the organism which synthesize their food by itself. Means they do not depend on other living organism for their food. Okay? And second, they are producer. That means they produce. They never take food from others. They just produce. So that's why they are known as producers. Process by which they synthesize their food is called photosynthesis. By the process of photosynthesis, they produce their food. In the term photosynthesis, photo refers as light. In the biological term, whenever you see photo, that means light. In the presence of light, they synthesize their food. That's why this synthesis is known as photosynthesis. Okay? Here you can see the reaction of photosynthesis. Here CO2 plus H2O in the presence of sunlight gives, this is C6H12O6, that is the formula of glucose, and oxygen. CO2 means carbon dioxide, H2O means water. In the presence of sunlight, in the upper side of the arrow, you can see this resemble chlorophyll. Okay? So in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight, it gives glucose and oxygen. Glucose is the food which is prepared by the plant. Okay, so the product of photosynthesis is glucose and oxygen. Okay, this carbon dioxide has taken by the means of stomata, which is found in the leaves of the plant. Okay, CO2 is taken through the stomata, and the opening and closing of stomata is guarded by the guard cells. Okay. Carbon dioxide moves into the cell by the process of diffusion. Means when carbon dioxide enters through stomata in the plant, after that from cell to cell by the means of diffusion, they get conveyed from one cell to another cell. In the case of diffusion, you can see the movement of molecule takes place from the region of higher concentration to the lower concentration. That means if a cell is containing carbon dioxide and the another cell has low concentration of carbon dioxide and this cell has high concentration of carbon dioxide, then the movement of carbon dioxide takes place from this to this. Such as this cell has also low concentration of carbon dioxide, then the carbon dioxide moves from this cell to this cell. So the transportation of carbon dioxide takes place in such a way in the case of plant cells. Further we move towards what are nutrients, because in the process of nutrition, so nutrients are the substance we required in the process of nutrition. So nutrients are the substance required during the process of nutrition. Okay, and in the case of plant get their nutrients from the soil. Okay, so nutrients are also divided into two parts, and that are macronutrients and micronutrients. Micronutrients are the nutrients which required in a small quantity. Okay, and the macronutrients are the nutrients which required in large quantity. Here you can see some macronutrients, that is magnesium, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Such as in the case of micronutrients, you can see iron, manganese and zinc. So these nutrients found in soil, and these nutrients are being absorbed by the roots in the case of plant with water also. Okay. Now we will discuss what is the function of all these macronutrients, as we know that these nutrients are required in large quantity in plants. Here you can see the magnesium. Magnesium's function is to the formation of chlorophyll. That means formation of chlorophyll takes place by the magnesium macronutrients. Okay, so magnesium is required for the formation of chlorophyll. Second, nitrogen. Nitrogen is useful or required in the formation of protein. Okay, in the case of plant, protein formation takes place when nitrogen is present in large quantity. Then phosphorus. Phosphorus is the main component for the production of ATP. What is ATP? ATP is the form of energy in the case of plant, and the full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. Last one is potassium. And what is the function of potassium? The function of potassium is that it governs the opening and closing of stomata. The opening and closing of stomata through which carbon dioxide enter into the plant is governed by the potassium. So these are the macronutrients which are required in the plant for the synthesis of their food. Okay. Now moving towards the micronutrients. These are the micronutrients which are essential for plant but in small quantity. What is the function of iron? Iron in the case of plant is a constituent of protein. That means whenever protein formation takes place, iron is required as a main constituent. Okay. Then manganese. What is the function of manganese? It is a constituent of enzyme. Okay, it is a constituent of enzyme, means the formation of enzyme takes place by the help of manganese. Then we are coming towards zinc. What is the function of zinc? Zinc just activate the enzymes. As we know, any reaction in the living organism takes place by the help of enzyme, and whenever enzymes get activated, the formation or the reaction takes place. Okay, so what is the function of zinc? Zinc just activate the enzymes. So earlier we study that how carbon dioxide enters into the plant, and how from cell to cell by the process of diffusion the carbon dioxide moves from one cell to another cell. Here we will talk about the next component, that is essential component for the process of photosynthesis, and that is water. We had talked about the carbon dioxide and minerals, but now we will talk about water. Water enters the cell of the root by the process of osmosis. Okay, so by the process of osmosis, the water enters through the root surface. What is the definition of osmosis? In the process of osmosis, the solvent molecule, in here, what is the solvent molecule? Water is the solvent molecule, moves from their higher concentration towards the lower concentration. That means if this is the ground surface, here the plant stem and these are the roots, okay, and here the concentration of water is high, but in the root the concentration of water is low, so the water moves inside the root because the concentration of water inside the root is low. This is the process of osmosis. After photosynthesis, we will study respiration. Respiration, when you are seeing the reaction of respiration, it is just like the process of photosynthesis. That means the reaction of photosynthesis and the reaction of respiration are just same, but they are just opposite.